Oh, there's Eric and Mara. Mara's got the broom already, cleaning up the mess from yesterday. What are we working on?
Well, hi there. Welcome to BSF Recovery Team. Hopefully today we're going to get this finished up. We're going to get the hydraulic cylinder on, and hopefully we'll get the front clip on. We'll be able to drive it out of the shop. Got real late last night, and I actually stayed up and edited the video, just posted it this morning. So some of you are watching that while we're making this video. But I'm also very tired, so I don't know how much we're going to get accomplished today. I was looking at past comments, and one of the comments I saw, somebody was asking about, I think this clutch here. They were asking about a compressor. Well, this is a clutch from an AC compressor, or like a clutch from an AC compressor. It's not an AC compressor or an air compressor. It actually drives my hydraulic pump. The hydraulic pump that runs the working end of the wrecker. I have a hydraulic winch and a hydraulic boom. So to have live power to that while the engine's running, we can turn on and off this AC clutch, or this clutch here, and it turns on our hydraulic pump and gives us hydraulic pressure to the boom or the winch. And speaking of comments, I thought I'd address one of the most common comments that I get. Way back, what was it, about a year ago, we did the Epic S10 recovery. And one of the most common comments on there is, why didn't we take the S10 out of park or pull the drive shaft or something like that? Well, to be honest with you, we tried. We tried to get it out of park. The linkage was all froze up. We tried taking the linkage off of the tranny and shifting the tranny into neutral from underneath. We tried shifting the transfer case into neutral. That was all froze up. And we took a look at the drive shaft, and where it bolted on to the rear axle, the yoke, that was all rusted, corroded, packed full of mud. The drums were packed full of mud. And to be honest with you, it was getting late. The sun was going down. It was really starting to get cold out. It was time to get out of the woods. So that's why we just drug it out with the rear wheels locked up. So, well, I'm putting the steering cylinder on. I remembered that the blower motor in the wrecker here tends to squeal a lot, and sometimes it'll even stop. So while I'm doing that, seat cover here is gonna change out the blower motor for me. Okay, I think the first thing we're gonna do is, I marked where this was when we mocked it up yesterday. So we're gonna bolt this on to our tie rod, and then we'll put the steering cylinder in. Get all 6 Allen bolts started here.
It's the same kind of bracket Synergy uses
On the relocation for the steering stabilizers.
Yeah.
Except that bracket is aluminum and has a single bolt hole in it for the steering stabilizer. This one is a steel one, so we could weld the double shear bracket on for the hydraulic cylinder. We'll just snug it up here. Want to tighten all these equally.
I got it out.
You got it out?
I got it out.
Okay. I'll put it on the table behind me, and then we'll change out the squirrel cage, or the fan. Okay, that's snugged up where we marked it. All right. So our replacement blower motor does not come with the fan, or the sometimes called the squirrel cage. So we have to transfer it from one to the other, and there are directions. I don't need those though.
Of course not.
This is how it works.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
So it's held on by a little nut on the end of the shaft.
Little nut.
Little nut.
Well, when's the last time you changed that?
I don't think I ever have on this truck. Oh, there, came off without breaking it. That's a good thing. Well, that's not good. Guess what?
Doesn't fit.
Yep, our shaft is too short. Wrong one, guys. We'll have to try that again. Put this one back in for now. But before we do, maybe we'll spray a little bit of lubrication in there, make it last just a hair longer. Not on the brushes, just on the bearing in the back. All right, I guess you can put that one back in for now. We tried. Look.
What are you doing?
Huh?
What were you doing?
Just watching YouTube.
Well, looks like it's time to build some hoses. The big question is which hose goes to which fitting on the steering gear or the cylinder. And the directions here don't tell me. They just tell me how to put together these fittings. We have to figure out our length of our hoses. Before we do that, I want to know which fitting pumps fluid when you're turning left and which fitting pumps fluid when you're turning right coming out of the steering box. There's nothing on that in the directions. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to see if anybody else has done a video on this.
I don't know. I don't know how to work this.
So we got the trusty laptop out here. I suppose I could do this on my new smartphone if I knew how. But we're gonna do a little search here. I'm not finding any specific GM install videos. Lots of videos on the PSC kit installed on Jeep JKs. Looks like we're gonna have to do a different search here. Tech info at PSC. Bleeding instructions, cylinder assist kit install, typical hose routing diagram. Port closest to firewall connects to driver's side of cylinder in most applications. Guess we'll try it, see how it works. So we want to make sure that we have enough slack in here so as the suspension droops down, it doesn't pull the hose out. But we don't want so much slack that it gets rubbed on a whole bunch of parts as we're wheeling. So I'm thinking about that much hose, and then if we want to secure part of it somewhere, we can. So this hose is steel braided inside. Can't cut it with a knife. You got to cut it with a cut-off wheel or something like that. It says put it in a vise with about 1.5 inches sticking out. It says thread this on counterclockwise
How far and how many times?
till you feel it bottom out against the hose, about there. Now we hold the fitting in the vise, lubrication. This gets threaded in clockwise. Make sure it doesn't push the hose out as you're doing it.
And that goes as far as it bottoms out to?
That is correct.
What about Teflon taping that?
There's no Teflon tape involved in this because it's a, it actually crimps itself, pinches the hose in between the two fittings. It's not a threaded connection. It's actually clamping down on the hose. Now the other end. Sometimes it's a little hard to get these far enough in so the threads will catch and start. Apply a little pressure. Sometimes a lot of pressure. So here's our first hose, and it said the port closest to the firewall should connect to the driver's side of the cylinder. Our hose routing looks good. We'll have to see how that works. If we have to readjust it a little bit after wheeling for a while, we'll keep an eye on it. Okay, get our second hose on here. Okay, we'll see if that works. We'll make sure that we keep an eye on that. Make sure that the hoses aren't rubbing or chafing anywhere. And if we have to reroute them a little bit, we will. So now we're gonna top off the fluid and we're gonna cycle the stirring back and forth a few times without the engine running. So we're gonna purge as much air out of the system as we can right now. Well, it won't be going up and down like it is right now once all the air is purged out. So go ahead and swing it back to the left. All right, I think we're pretty good. Center it back up.
Now what?
Now we can put the front end on the ground and we can go get the front clip.
Okay, I will put it down on the ground.
Far.
One more thing we're gonna do. We're gonna save these caps and a couple of spare O-rings. We're gonna put those in the glove box. In case we have a line or a fitting break, we can cap it off and then still steer the truck. That's part of the reason why we went with the Hydro Assist instead of a full hydraulic system.
Your tow truck's too heavy.
Hey, look what I found in the glove box. Anybody want an old Tootsie Roll?
Ew.
Well, it's time to put the front clip on.
She's got snow on her hood.
Yep. We're gonna have to set the hood off to the side. Want it off the other side? Mara's got it all nice and cleaned out now. Kind of a crude way to put it back together, but it's not a show truck.
What are you talking about?
You think they're on
They're
there?
in the
Oh, they're
office
that's
in the
right,
box.
they're in there.
You put them in the box so you wouldn't lose them.
That's what it
I
was.
put them in the box.
Blake, would you like to make some mud pies?
I would not.
Come on.
Unless you want to roll around it in a bikini.
That's a mud bite?
I see a little San Paulo in there. I see a little Gilbert in there. I see a lot of Dresser in there.
He's getting me wet.
See, that is how I know I'm an adult. Because as an adult, I know there'll be payback for that. But as an adult, I still can't do it.
Well, the clip's back on and everything's hooked up under the hood. Now, we can either put the hood on or we can start it up and try it out. What do you think we should do?
Start it up.
All right.
Come on. We're all waiting.
Turn fully to the right, you can see the hydraulic cylinder kind of pop up or kick up a little bit. The reason for that is because we're not quite perfectly horizontal with the tie rod. The body end of the cylinder is just a little bit below the level of the high steer tie rod. I would tip the other end down a little bit to compensate for that, except that my differential is right there in the way. So that's the way it's going to be. It'll kick up a little bit like that when we get almost to a full right turn, but it'll be okay. Now that everything's together and everything seems to work, we get to put the hood on and drive it out tonight. Well, it's getting late again. I'm really tired. That's all for tonight. Next, we'll have to work on the winch. I got some new products to go on there. But it's going to feel real good because we're going to get in and drive it out this time. Thanks for watching, BSF Recovery Team. Keep wheeling. Be safe out there. Maybe we'll see you in the woods.